Hello, everyone, and welcome to Not Too Late, the only late-night show that still has stock in Blockbuster, interestingly. This week, we are joined by Eric Pankowski, but before we get to him, Megan is here to do a co-host audition. Come on out, Megan. There we go. What's up?
Yeah.
You got this.
I got this. Okay. Hey, everyone. Have you ever been bombarded with a plethora of photos of young men willingly giving themselves wedgies? I know you have. I have, too. Let me set up the scenario. April 5th, 2019, a chilly day. It wasn't cold, but my mom did make chili. Going about my normal routine, I suddenly realized, sitting at the base of the shower crying, that I had never seen a wedgie in person. I saw them on Disney Channel, where the bullies would hang the nerds up by a hook on their underwear, or in the book Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and I think I read about it in the Bible. I believe it's Ezekiel 23:20. Pretty savage if you ask me. So to remedy this, I went online to voice all my thoughts. You see, I don't have a therapist, but I do have Twitter. And I tweeted, I'm a little disappointed that I'd never seen anyone receive/give an atomic wedgie. TV and movies really hype them up, frowny face. I figured that when I tweeted this, it would dissipate into the Twitter sphere, I'd get my 10 likes, and then I could move on. However, this was not the case. The wedgie fetish freaks of Twitter were quick to pounce on my innocent tweet. I was besieged by butts, crowded by cracks, annihilated by... You get the point. For a week straight, I would lie awake at night trying to count sheep, but could only count the DMs I got. 30 Twitter accounts, 30 butts, 59 cheeks. There was a particular one that looked like a Greek statue, and it made me question both the existence of God and the devil. There he was, shining like a bright full moon in my inbox. He was positioned like a swan, a butt like a basketball, double-cheeked up on a Thursday afternoon. This guy sent me a full-body picture, giving himself an atomic wedgie. While I was completely mortified, I was also inspired, not only by his courage of sending the picture in the first place, but also the way he messaged me once a month afterwards to see if I would respond. I mean, he was like my hygienist trying to get me to come in for a cleaning. I finally gave in to his powers and messaged him back. I made it clear to him. I simply never once asked for a picture of a grown man stretching his tighty-whities up and over his head. After what seemed like an eternity of trying to get him to realize his wrongdoing, he finally surrendered to my reprimanding and apologized. While it doesn't change the fact that I still get Vietnam-style flashbacks of butt cracks, I'm glad I was able to help someone see the light at the end of the tunnel. In conclusion, don't be weird and keep your wedgies to yourself. We have a great show today, so don't leave. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Not Too Late. Let's see what's in the news for today. Forest officials in Arizona were mystified in October when a local landmark, Wizard Rock, a 1-ton boulder, suddenly vanished. Now they're equally stumped by the boulder's mysterious return. I, however, am not, because my dad, the rock in my life, disappears and returns randomly all the time. Fans of the movie Blade Runner were surprised to hear, as of last week, the movie is now officially set in the past. I guess we can all be relieved that in our version of 2019, we don't have a giant authoritative company ruling over us all. We have two. This week, in a bloody mess of a situation, T.I. said in a new interview that he accompanies his daughter every year for her annual gynecological exam to ensure that she is still a virgin. Now, I imagine that having a mediocre at best rapper as a father would suck, but this is just the cherry on top. Mourners at a funeral were accidentally fed drug-laced cake. Grandma Joanne was quoted in saying it was the best birthday party she's ever been to. A 19-year-old woman gave birth to a baby on the dance floor of a nightclub in France. Due to the good news, the club announced that the baby will have free entry to the club for the rest of its life, which was about 3 seconds since it contracted 13 different diseases as soon as it touched the floor. A Disneyland bridge broke after a man jumped on it to show his kids that it was safe. In an interview later, his girlfriend said that wasn't the first time he promised something wouldn't break. A Texas family was told to take down a snowman because it was too early for Christmas decorations. They were even more outraged, however, when they were told to take off the Confederate sweater they made for the snowman. A beach in France was closed off after 900 kilograms of cocaine washed up on the shore. One man was quoted saying, "That's really crazy. Who would have ever done that? That's really awful." Ugh. Actor Emma Watson stated in an interview recently that she was not single but self-partnered, which is exactly what I am, Mom. Stop asking questions. An Iowa woman died from an explosion in what appears to be a gender reveal party gone wrong. Bystanders were quoted in saying, "The explosion was cool, but what gender is red?" Before we get to our guests, let's check out a package from our field team. We'll be right back.
Becky, this quiz just told me that Shawn Mendes is my soulmate. I knew it.
Becky, no. He's mine, and you know it.
Oh my god. Shut up, Becky. You know that these are, like, super accurate. Stephanie, you should totally take it.
Okay, but I'm totally gonna get Shawn too. You know, we're like meant to be.
Stephanie, I will literally stab you.
Becky, stop. You're so crazy.
Becky, I told you to stop calling me that. My mother had me tested.
Well, what's it say?
You didn't get Shawn, did you?
No, it says your celebrity soulmate doesn't exist. Either they aren't famous yet, or you aren't meant to have a soulmate. Maybe you should think about why. What does that even mean?
It means I only have to fight Becky for Shawn.
Ignore it. That one site's, like, super sketchy. You know what? Here, try this one.
Becky, I swear you're trying to sabotage my relationship with Shawn.
Oh my god, Becky, stop. You're so crazy.
What's it say? No match is found. Just like in real life, you say you're just picky, but are you really? Are you so sure that you haven't found anyone because there's no one for you to find? Do you even know what you're even looking for? What the hell? Did you guys do this?
No, but you are kind of picky.
Oh my god, you actually think it's true?
No. Oh my god, no. We would literally never. But you just have, like, really bad luck with dating. But there's totally someone out there for you.
Just not Shawn. Just so we're on the same page, it's gonna be Shawn and Becky Mendes. It's a thing. I'll invite you guys to the wedding. You can be like, I don't know, bridesmaids or something. Just whatever it takes.
Oh, Becky and Shawn. It sounds so good, doesn't it?
Becky, I swear.
Ooh, what's it say?
You're alone. You've always been alone. Even in this moment, surrounded by friends, you couldn't feel more alone. And you know what the worst part is, Stephanie? You don't even understand why. It's why you take these quizzes, expecting other people to tell you your own desires. Expecting to somehow fill that void, to rid yourself of that overwhelming feeling of emptiness, even for just one fleeting second. But you should ask yourself, Stephanie, how could you have a soulmate when you don't even know yourself?
At least you didn't get Shawn.
Oh my god, Becky, stop. You're so crazy.
I will end you!
Welcome back to Not Too Late. I'd like to welcome out our special guest, Eric Pankowski. Come on out.
Hello.
How's it going?
Hello. Very weird being a guest on a show.
So you're back in Bloomington for a while.
Yes.
Is there anything that you like to do when you visit here? Favorite restaurant, bar, mall kiosk, anything like that?
Yeah, not the mall kiosk, not so much. Although my first experience with Chick-fil-A was the Chick-fil-A in the College Mall when I was here. I don't know if it's still there. Is there a Chick-fil-A still in the College
It's now
Mall?
outside of the College Mall.
Oh, really?
It's
It's its own
freestanding now.
establishment.
It's got its own building.
But when I come back, food is a huge thing. So last night we had dinner at Farm, which was amazing. That wasn't here when I was here. But then we went to Culver's for custard for dessert.
I used to work at a Culver's.
Did you?
2.5 years.
Nice. I love it.
Not nice.
Not nice?
Nah.
No? I love it.
Yeah.
We did pizzeria for lunch today. My dad and mom, who are in the audience, they used to go to pizzeria all the time when they were here at Indiana. And then tonight is the best. It's Little Zagreb's. So Zagreb's is like the thing I have to do every single time I come back.
It's the number one?
That is number one. I'll try to do Buffalo's. Love Buffalo's.
Love Buffalo's.
Dagwood's if I can do it. Breakfast at Village Deli this morning.
Have you been to Joella's yet?
No Joella's.
Oh, it's hot chicken.
Ooh, I love hot chicken.
It's right by College Mall. It's just on the way there.
It's actually right by Chick-fil-A.
It's right next to Chick-fil-A.
Yes.
Whoa. Bit of a war. Bit of a chicken war.
Yep.
What do you prefer?
I prefer Joella's.
Okay.
Agreed.
I was expecting more than just that. I thought there'd be more, but she answered the question. We
She
can
did.
move on.
She got it short
Yeah.
and sweet. All right, so what do you do on the daily for your job working at Carpool Karaoke?
I'm the executive producer of the show, so everything about the show from booking the guests to the final edit, I oversee. It was my job to staff up the show when we started it 3 years ago. And any creative decision on the show has to ultimately bubble through me, but you empower people, good people, hire good people, writers, producers, post-production people, production folks, line producers, location people, and you hope that you can share a vision for the show and that everybody shares it, so everybody's kind of pulling in one direction. And every day is different. You know, if it's a day that we're shooting, that's a pretty hectic day. Most days we're not shooting. Most days it's about planning and post-production. So really everything, not that different than what you do on this show. I mean, it's maybe on a different scale, but
A little
it's
bit.
A little bit.
Just a little different, but yeah.
Although you have more people working here than I do. We talked about that. You got a lot of staff. But, you know, you have the same constraints. You have budget problems. We have budget problems. You know, the scale's a little different, but it's all the same issues. TV is TV. That's why what you're doing here is so great, because if you can produce a show here, you can honestly produce a show anywhere. It's like the old movie Hoosiers, you know, when they go to playing the championship game, and Gene Hackman, the coach, takes them to measure the basket. Still 10 feet high, still 15 feet for a free throw. It's the same thing. It's
Nothing's
still
changed.
It's cameras, it's a jib, it's teleprompter, you know, it's lights, it's all the same stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you've had a bunch of cool guests. You've had Kendall Jenner, Jamie Foxx, John Legend, Joe Jonas. Who would you want to have as a karaoke partner if you were having
Of the people we had on the show?
of any guests that you've had on the show so far?
Oh my God. That I've never been asked that. Everybody always asks what's my favorite episode, but nobody asks who would my karaoke partner be. LeBron was really fun. LeBron was extremely fun. He'd be fun because he just kind of went for it and was silly. Alicia Keys, because she just, I mean, she can sing. I mean, it's just incredible. And to be that I think I'd go with Alicia. Because
with
to be
Alicia?
that close to her while she's doing that, I wouldn't be singing necessarily.
You'd
I
be
would just
backup
listening.
vocals?
Yeah. But there's so many. They're all so, every show we've done has been a lot of fun. So I'll stick with those two.
And then do you have a dream guest? Somebody who if you could pick anybody, I'll say alive or dead even, just somebody you would want on the show.
I really want Kevin Hart on the show. We're close. We've had a chance to have Kevin Hart on the show, and then his partner on that show at the last minute had to back out, so we haven't been able to rebook him. But Kevin is a big one. Margot Robbie is somebody, she can really sing, and she's really fun and funny, and we're getting close to having her on the show. But the dead thing is interesting. You know, yeah, I mean, Abraham Lincoln would be fun to have in the car.
He'd be freaking out about the car.
Yeah, I'd like to see. Right. So I'd like to see what he would do.
Do you have any funny behind-the-scenes stories? Anything crazy happen? You ever get in a car accident or anything like
We
that?
have one time. Seth MacFarlane ran into a car. He was with Ariana Grande, and he ran into the car. He forgot that the right pedal was the gas. So that was interesting. A funny behind-the-scenes story. We did an episode. We don't do a lot of episodes with James for the series, but we did one with him and Will Smith, and I wanted it to be a big episode. So we came up with an idea. I just always thought that the next evolution of Carpool for fun bits would be get them out of the car and singing in some other vehicle. Well, what can you put Will Smith and James in that would be super cool? A helicopter. So we found a helicopter company that could do it, and then I said, well, let's drop them off on top of, if you remember the movie Independence Day, the building that gets blown up in Independence Day is a circular building, like a big column. It's the tallest building west of the Mississippi River. Said, well, why don't we just land it on top of there, and Will just gets annoyed with James and leaves him on the top of the building and takes the helicopter away. And the last shot of the whole thing is James screaming on top of this building. So it all sounded great. We figured out the way to do it, location agreements, you know. Will's team signed off on it. James loved it. Then I had to have a conversation with Will's team about it. And they said, what kind of helicopter did you get? And I read it off the paper. I don't know one helicopter from another. I don't know. They all have the same blades that go around, right?
They spin.
And they said, well, it's dual engine, right? And I'm reading the thing. I don't know. No, it says single engine. They're like, Will Smith's not going up in a single engine helicopter.
Your helicopter's not good enough
Right.
for
I go,
Will
what
Smith.
do you mean? They go, a single engine helicopter means if one engine goes out, he's dead. I go, oh yeah, that's a good idea. We'll have a 2-engine helicopter. So then we get the 2-engine helicopter, do that, and it's the moment where they're about to go up. So James is in the helicopter, Will's in the helicopter, the director's in the helicopter, I'm on headset with them, and I have to give the signal to go. And I said go, and we're on top of this like beautiful mountain in Los Angeles, several miles away from the building. You can see the building off in the distance. And there was a moment where I said go, and the helicopter took off, and it went about 6 feet up, 10 feet up. And there was a moment where it started to come down. Like it got about 20 feet up, and it dipped. And my stomach dropped. And I thought in my head, I just killed Will Smith. And I couldn't believe, like, it never occurred to me that this was dangerous. It was just like, I want the funny, I want the visual. And it dipped, and it felt like it was an hour. It was a second, half a second, and then it went back up, and it took off. And I'm just watching this thing going, this is a cool job. This is a cool job. So that was a little funny story.
It was the moment after you're like, oh, I almost killed Will Smith and James Corden, that you're like, I love this.
I love this job.
So you kind of answered this earlier, but they're actually driving. I've always had it in my head that they're not driving because I just imagine it'd be so hard to do.
It is hard to do. The good news is we have a police escort. You know, it's a big caravan that you don't see on camera.
They make it easier.
Yeah, they don't ever have to make a driving decision. They're not like deciding, do I go left here or right here? They just follow the car in front of them. 2 times we have not had the people drive. One was because we shot at night, and because if you're shooting at night, you have to light them in the car. Well, if you light somebody like these
can't
lights,
see.
I can barely see the audience here. And there's like 600-700 people in this audience, right? Yeah. So
Around that.
right. So we had a Gwyneth Paltrow, Jessica Alba, and Will.i.am, and we did an episode with them where we put it on a trailer so they could shoot it at night. And then we just did an episode that hasn't aired yet. It'll air first quarter of next year, 2020, with all 6 kids from Stranger Things. Oh. And we had to put that on a trailer because they don't have driver's license.
None of them can drive yet.
Right. So we did that. It was really fun. And then we do a little reveal at the end that shows that maybe they weren't driving the whole time.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, they drive.
So
They're
before
driving, real quick.
Yeah,
I
go for
find
it.
this interesting.
Yeah.
You may not. You may not.
Okay.
But hey, I'm here one time, so I'll just talk about what I
Okay.
find.
might as well give us all the info you can.
Yeah.
The driving helps the creative because the great thing about Carpool is you get to see these really big stars in a very intimate, different way. There's no producers next to them. There's not lights like this. There's no cameras like this with teleprompter. There's no stage manager off the stage coming to get them. They're just alone. And that creates an intimacy that's really interesting. But the fact that the one who is driving actually has to drive gives them something to focus on that kind of takes away nerves. They're not thinking about their performance. They're thinking about don't crash the car.
Definitely.
They're thinking about driving. So it becomes, like when you're on a road trip with somebody or just with a friend going to get something to eat, conversation flows really easily in a car when you're driving, like you're still driving. So I think there is something about actually doing the activity that disarms them and makes the show a little bit more casual and intimate than it would otherwise be.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Did you guys find that interesting?
I really
I
did.
did.
I
Oh,
found
good.
that really
Okay,
interesting.
I did.
You want to talk about the chicken place again?
I'm done with chicken
Oh,
talk.
okay.
So before you worked at Carpool Karaoke, I read your LinkedIn page, and you were the senior VP of Creative and Development at the WWE.
Yeah.
Now I personally am a huge WWE fan. My roommates and I watch it every week.
Yep.
Can you tell me about what that was like? What exactly did you do there, and how did you like it?
I ran creative for the whole company. So my job was bifurcated. One part of the job was they wanted to leverage their existing intellectual property, the talent, some videos, and create television shows for other networks. How do we expand the brand? So when I was there, I helped create and then sell Total Divas. Because I thought there was a real market to do something with it. Back then, they were the divas. They're not divas anymore. They're just the women of
superstars,
WWE.
yeah.
Yep. So that was part of it. But the other half of the job was to run creative for the company. So Raw, SmackDown, pay-per-views, character development, all the scripts, all the stories, all the promos ran through me. Coming up with storylines for the wrestlers and the superstars, and building out the creative storyline for their core product, which was, I was a fan, still am a fan, but grew up a huge fan of wrestling. Used to watch it with my dad and then my brother, and loved it, and always have loved it. And so when I got that opportunity, it was a little bit like a dream job to be able to be the one deciding what they're going to do. So that was my job. And did I like it? I did. I loved parts of it, and parts of it were really difficult. Really difficult. But there is no place, I've worked at a few different places in my career, and I know of a lot of places, there is no place like WWE. It is its own unique beast. Vince McMahon, who I worked directly with and for, is the most unique individual that has ever been created, ever. And so it's an interesting place. It's an amazing company. What they do on a weekly basis, the amount of content they put in, the quality of content that they put out.
It's got to be so much work.
It is insane. And to do it in different cities on Sunday night, Monday night, and now Friday night.
Yep.
It's when I was there, it was Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. There is nothing like it. It is a traveling circus and rock and roll show and drama and sketch comedy and talk show, all wrapped up in one giant extravaganza, and also an event for 17,000 people in the arena, which is different. There's no show like that where you're producing for both. Every show on television that anyone watches is produced for you sitting at home. It is not produced for the studio audience on a sitcom. Dramas have no audience, and single camera comedies have no audience.
Nothing.
But that show is produced for 17,000 people that paid money to be there, and for the people watching for free at home. So there's no entity like it. It's an exhilarating place.
You tell me that it's scripted?
No. It's all real. It's all real.
So you do a podcast called Hoosier Hysterics with fellow IU alum Ward Roberts.
Yes.
How did you meet him?
Ward and I met at Indiana. We were both in the telecom department, which does not exist anymore. It's part of the media school. Ward was an actor and did a lot in the theater department. I did some stuff in the theater department. We met in a screenwriting class, was the first time we met. This is Ward's story. I don't remember meeting Ward in the screenwriting class.
Not memorable to you?
No, not really. He remembers it and talks about it a lot, so I just go with it. Yeah, I remember that. But we did plays together, and we did one specifically my senior year, a Shakespeare play. And I just remember there was a scene where Ward and I had to walk kind of around the main stage for a while, just very slowly. And I was not a good actor, and Ward was, and all I wanted to do was screw him up. So we would just walk around, and I would just try to make him laugh and break character the whole time. I was just saying nonsense the whole time. So we became friends there, and then we both moved out to LA and kind of reconnected in LA, both crazy for Indiana basketball. And our friendship has kind of grown, both being in LA, working in the same business. And Ward came up with this idea for the podcast about a year ago, and it's been really fun, yeah.
All right, so what is the biggest Hoosier sports disagreement that you've ever had? Has there ever been something specifically?
Oh, yeah, we fight all the time.
You fight all the
it.
time?
Yeah.
Is there one that stands out as like the biggest fight you've had?
Yeah, it's funny because, most of the time it starts as text. And then somebody will write something that is just offensive. I mean, it just, it'll be like a nice conversation about, no, Archie shouldn't do that, because if we do that, then we're going to really show our weakness here. Oh, well, that's interesting, but you're forgetting that if we don't do this, and then somebody will just go, yeah, but your mother is and it's like, wait a minute, where'd that come from?
Take it to
just
100.
go offensive. But I think the biggest one we argue on is just on Archie specifically. How long will it take for us to know if he's the guy? This is his third year. And from the beginning, I always said 3 years. So this is his third year. And Ward said 5. And so that was a huge disagreement between us. And still is a disagreement.
Still is.
Yeah,
It still carries
fun.
on to this day?
Yeah, well, we'll find out after this year.
Yep.
Number 3.
You got a number at a time.
Yeah.
So when you were here, you studied telecom, and today we have the media school. So what student media was around back when you were in school, and were you involved in any of it?
I mean, there really wasn't. I mean, there was a studio that we did classes in, but there was some student television, but it was not nearly as robust as what you guys have. I pitched a talk show called IU Speaks when I was there and did several episodes of it where I just hosted a talk show. But I was in like a closet of a room with 3 robotic cameras. I didn't have any of this. Like this is, it's amazing. Also, you know, I started learning how to edit and stuff at Indiana on 3/4-inch tape, reel to reel. We didn't have nonlinear systems the first one came in 98, 99. I remember the first Avid came in and everybody like freaked out.
Lost
It was
your
like
minds.
that monolithic statue from 2001. You just looked at it, like how are you supposed to use this? We had terrible equipment. So, but we did do, one of my telecom classes, we shot a documentary that was supposed to go to WTIU, but the truth is I don't even think we finished it. It was like we were doing it on the Kinsey Institute, and it was an in-depth documentary. We got about 20 minutes of the 30 that we needed, and I don't think we ever finished it.
You just gave up?
We just didn't have time to like we had to all graduate. It was go time. But that we just didn't have the amount of resources, and the truth is technology has made it easier.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, I mean, the technology has progressed to a point where everybody can edit on their laptops. You can edit on your iPhone. You know, so it just was harder back then. It required more capital to invest in something that would allow students to really do it. But anything I could get involved in, I did. But it was more, I got more involved in the performance aspect. I did more theater. I did sketch comedy, put on my own comedy shows, stuff like that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Can't you tell I'm hilarious, right?
Yeah, you're so funny.
Thanks.
So what's the best advice that you can give to students if they want to make it in the industry? Because you're obviously doing well.
Yeah, I've been lucky. I mean, you know, everybody talks about networking and meeting the right people, but it is true. You have to network, you have to be aggressive, you have to be ambitious. I mean, you guys are off to a good start doing this all on your own, but you can't take no for an answer. You just kind of have to figure out a way to, you know, there's an old saying that no's just the first step of getting to a yes. So, you know, I tell people all the time, young people, just get that job. Get the first job. Don't worry about what the first job is. So what if it's not perfect? So what if it pays you less than you want? So what if it's on a show that you hate? Doesn't matter. Just get that first job. Take a leap. And it may be uncomfortable. I mean, you may have to live, you know, on ramen and macaroni and cheese for a long time. But you do what you have to do. I know I have a lot of friends who came out here with absolutely nothing. I was really lucky. I came out here already knowing out to LA knowing I had a job with Warner Brothers. But a lot of my friends started just going out there and figuring it out, sleeping on couches of friends. You just got to do it. Like if you want to get into this business and you want to get into like the creative side of nationally broadcast television shows or nationally distributed shows, you got to go to New York or LA. LA has more of it, but you just got to like take the leap and get that first job. Don't do just the cursory, oh, I saw this thing online and applied for it. No, go to the credits of TV shows, find those people on LinkedIn, meet with them, take them out to coffee, find them on Twitter or Instagram, DM them, whatever you have to do to meet people that are in places that you find interesting, go. Until you get a job that pays you, that's your job. So that would be my advice.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I'm definitely going to need to use that. So do you have anything to promote before we play our game? Obviously, you got your podcast and carpool karaoke.
I would say the podcast, Hoosier Hysterics. We're part of the Peegs family, which is an Indiana sports website, peegs.com. But if you go on to your favorite podcast app, whether it's Apple's podcast or Spotify, search for the Peegs podcast or search for Hoosier Hysterics and you'll find us. And follow us on Twitter at Hoosier Hysterics, no vowels in hysterics. Why? I have no idea, but we have no vowels. I think somebody had the handle.
Awesome. Sounds
I do
good.
have a question.
Great.
Do you know Harry Styles?
I have met Harry Styles. Is he your favorite?
He's my favorite.
Really? Of all time?
Of all time.
Well, yeah, he's a talented guy. He's guest hosting the Late Late Show in December. You should come to LA and see the show.
If you'll pay.
No, I will not. But I'll give you a ticket for the show.
That would be lovely.
You just need a
You
plane
just need to
ticket
get
I
now.
need a plane ticket. Okay.
There you go.
Awesome. So let's cut to a little break and we will be right back.
Oh, 1 second. I gotta take this. Hello?
It must be the morning wake-up call.
Get yours every Monday morning with the Bloomington Breakfast Club.
Welcome back. Today, Eric and I are playing a game called Elevator Pitch. We will each be pitching shows to the audience that we make up on the spot. In these cups are titles, genre, and a comparable, like It's Shark Boy and Lava Girl meets blank. I'll go first. Let's get started.
You're standing. It's
I'm
very
standing.
intimidating.
For you? All right. Let's see. Oh, missed it. Let's see what we got. Ooh. All right.
15 seconds on the clock.
Okay.
What?
You can think about it for 15
I
seconds.
got 15 seconds to think. All
Now
right.
you have 12.
I mean, you could take 15 hours to think.
And I don't know if it's
Yeah, I don't know if it would help you.
Ready?
Are you ready? You can go ahead and go.
Henry was an average boy. He went to high school. He just did his daily chores. Nothing really crazy happened in his life. That is until he met Hank. Now, Hank was his best friend's father. And Henry had a little secret. He loved kissing dads. This summer, the blockbuster hit Dad Kisser is going to be coming to the theaters. And now this movie is a competitive divorce film. Now you may be wondering, what is that? Well, I got to tell you, both of these parents are in a divorce and they both want to win. But what do they want to win? The affection of Henry, the dad kisser. Now the mom knows that she's at a disadvantage, much like the characters Wallace and Gromit are at disadvantages all the time. That's why this is Wallace and Gromit meets Sex in the City. You've got love, you've got betrayal, you've got really, really bad divorce attorneys, surprisingly. Neither of them could find a good one. Will Henry pick the dad? Will he pick the mom? All we know is that he will be kissing dads. Thank you.
Wow.
I just like that this was the genre, right?
Yeah.
Competitive divorce film.
Yes.
Yeah.
For something to be a genre, I feel like multiple movies have to be.
We're building new genres
Yeah,
today.
what? I can't think of one competitive divorce film. Kramer versus Kramer. It was like 40 years ago.
But you thought of one.
I did. That doesn't make a genre. All right.
All right,
here we
your
go.
turn.
You ready?
All right, hold on. No, I'm not ready.
Once he pulls it out.
Okay. I mean,
All right.
I got to give myself some sort of help, right?
hold on. By the way, I should ask this. Am I pitching a film? It has to be a film?
Film, movie, podcast,
show?
book,
Oh, it could be anything.
anything.
Okay.
Yeah, 15 seconds starting now.
What the hell that is.
Nobody does.
15 seconds starting now?
You
Oh.
have 10 seconds.
Oh, okay.
To think of it.
Okay, I'm good.
All right.
Okay, good. All right, go.
Ready?
Yes.
So my first dog that I ever got with my wife, we got an English bulldog. His name was Luca, named after Luca Brasi from The Godfather. Really good dog. Good times, bad times. The dog is there for you, right? Everybody agree with me in the audience? The dog is always there for you. And the thing about a dog is, no matter what you're going through, the dog is constant. It's when you're in a bad mood, the dog's pretty much in a good mood. Just give it some food. If you're sad, it'll help you get out of it. If you're happy, he's going to make you even happier. He was a good dog. The problem is the dog lives a whole life that you don't know about. When you go off to work, what is Luca doing? What was Luca doing? Well, it turns out Luca was running a drug cartel. Yeah, I mean, out of our apartment, our one-bedroom apartment in Burbank, California. Luca was the head of a doggy drug cartel. He had a bunch of dogs in the apartment building.
Your time's up.
Oh.
Well, I think they would
You,
buy
yeah,
that.
you just, yeah.
That
I didn't know there
was
was a
buy
time
it.
limit on the pitch.
Yeah, you
60
got 1
seconds.
minute.
Well, the name is It's Unbelievable. It's the Unbelievable.
Okay.
There you go. All right, I
Thank
feel good
you,
about it.
thank
Great. All right. That was
really holding tight to the time frame.
you. Yeah.
that was
I have
a
one job.
tough round one for me.
Yeah, you won that one.
I don't think so.
Yeah, he was running it.
All right.
He was like El Chapo.
All right.
All right, 15 seconds.
All right.
What? That's not a genre.
It will be in a few years. I bet that.
Oh my God.
Ready?
You ready? Okay. And go.
Charles Housett downloaded an app. What was that app? You've probably heard of it by now. TikTok. With only one goal. He wanted to spread information, but not true information. No. He just wanted to spread propaganda so he could find love. How did Charles Housett do it? He started going up, put on his best suits, and started recording TikToks. This documentary is about Charles Housett, the incomparable, the incomparable Charles Housett. He goes up every morning, he wakes up, and he talks to the camera. He says, hey, you're looking for somebody to love? Why not meet me, Charles Housett? He gets comments. People are saying, you suck, I hate you. Nobody likes Charles Housett. But this is a story of resilience. This is Russian propaganda meets Rocky. A man who never gives up on finding love, and a man who uses social media to find that love. The incomparable Charles Housett. Thank you.
Again.
TikTok love story is a genre.
The writers came up with, is it? Would you say it's a genre? TikTok love story?
I mean, on TikTok it is.
Is it? All right. I'm too old for TikTok.
You haven't used it?
No one's
My
too old for
kids use it.
TikTok.
It's
Really?
too good.
You don't think so?
No.
I think if you found out that I just was on TikTok all the time, you'd be like, that guy's too old for TikTok. This is good.
You got a good one?
Oh, yep, here we go.
Oh, see, that's a good genre. That's a real one, right?
I don't know what
All
that
right.
is.
15 seconds.
There's like a
starting,
Disney superhero
yeah.
movie.
starting
Okay.
now.
15 seconds? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
I like that title.
Mm-hmm.
That's
a
a
good
pretty
title.
fun title.
It's a good title.
How's it going?
I'm having a great time.
How's the timer?
14 seconds.
here we go.
All right.
Oof. Okay, ready and go.
Travel agencies are a thing of the past. They don't really exist anymore because of things like kayak.com. But back in the day, you would go to a travel agent. You'd go to an office, you'd meet with an agent, you'd set up your whole trip through this office of people that are determined to give you an experience of a lifetime. The travel agency business went under because of one place called the Ghostbusters. They would hear what people would want from their trips, and then with their sick, demonic minds, they would turn that into a horror travel escapade. Because they, at this travel agency, had a direct line to the afterlife. How much time do I have?
You have 10 seconds.
Oh my God. This show is Sky High meets the Blair Witch Project. It is called the Ghostbusters.
All right.
One more.
Tough act to follow.
It's wonderful.
Let's see what I get.
Oh boy. That is rough. Again,
That
is not a genre.
that's a doable one. Oh, okay.
All right, 15 seconds starting now.
Beans are legumes, right?
Yeah, go for it.
I
Yeah,
think
we'll
so.
call them.
Are beans legumes? Anybody know?
Yeah.
Yes.
Boom. All right, I'm ready.
Okay, ready, go.
Tim Allen. He came and talked to me about a month ago. He said, I want to do a spin-off of Home Improvement. And I said, Tim, I don't have money. I don't know anybody who could get that done, but I promise you I will get it done. And that's why I'm here today. So this is the story. Tim Allen, he's working on a shed in the backyard, and then all of a sudden a bean rolls up and hits him right in the foot. Then another, and then another. He hears a yelp from the backyard. His daughter is completely covered in legumes. He screams into the air, it's the attack of the legumes. So what does he do? He goes into his shed, he gets his chainsaw, he gets all of his tools, and then he defends his house. Now this movie is Flubber meets Home Alone. But Tim Allen, while he's there, by the way, his wife gets killed early on. That's what happens. This new Home Improvement giantess, she's not actually a giantess, she's like 6 feet tall. But to him, she's huge. He meets her. And then through the
All
protection,
right, sorry, kid.
through the protection of their house, they fall in love. Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to say.
There's a romance, yeah.
The genre in that one, everybody, was Home Improvement romance.
Boom.
Did anybody hear anything romantic?
The giantess.
The giantess at the end.
I got to tell you, I forgot the romance part, and then I looked down and I go,
knew you did. How am I going to stick on a romance? You got the attack right. And I like how you say legume.
Legumes?
Yeah.
How do you, legumes?
No, I like how you say it. All right, there's the title. Uh-oh.
Are we out? Oh, there's one.
Oh, there is one.
There it
too.
is.
Sorry. Oh, boy.
What do you got?
I mean, that's just nuts.
Oh,
Okay.
that's the realest one we've had.
That's the realest one. Yep.
All right. 15 seconds.
Okay.
Now.
I'm really curious to see where you go with this
Yeah.
one.
Okay.
Okay, ready? Go.
This movie starts with the biggest dance scene in the history of film. I mean, there are 3,000 people involved in this shoot. 3,000 people at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California, all dancing, all Indian, by the way, because this is inspired by Bollywood. They all start dancing. You think it's just a normal Bollywood film. That's what you think. The problem is they're not good. They're not good at dancing. They're not the worst dancers you've ever seen, but they're not good at all. About halfway through the dance, they start to levitate. All 3,000. Again, not dancing good. Not dancing well at all.
17 seconds.
But they are also through the course of this film, you see that they're all filled with a bunch of teen angst, because this movie is Clueless meets The Fifth Element. The title of this movie is Better Than Worse.
All right.
Excellent.
Oh, God. Thank God it's over.
Hey, yeah,
Good
that's what I'm
job.
saying.
Good
Great job.
job.
All right, we're going to have the audience vote really quick. We'll just do by show of hands. I'll count.
Okay.
Raise your hand if I won. Wow, there's so many people to
That's
count.
unfair. They're just being nice to me because I'm the guest.
Raise your hand if Eric won.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
You guys haven't trained well.
It was close.
It was close. That's not fair.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Not Too Late, and thank you very much to Eric for coming on.
Happy
We
to
really
be here.
appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me.
Tune in next week with Jesse Eisenberg and I practice our finishers. Stay safe, and don't forget, it's not too late to let it go. We'll see you guys later. Thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for meeting you. That was really fun.
That was very fun.